This is Jamie Drummond for Good Food Revolution. We welcome back, for the first time in goodness knows how long, the one, the only Mr. Sal Principato. How are you, Sal?
I'm very well. Hi, Jamie. Good to talk to you.
Now, you're joining us live and direct from New York today. You find your time between New York and Miami. How are things in New York right now?
They're pretty much full on, I mean, like it's as lively and crowded as ever,
Really?
The other night I had to get the best. It's hard. I'm in my car right now on alternate side of the street parking, so I don't get a ticket.
Got you.
But it's really hard to find a parking space, and if I use the car on the weekend, early Sunday mornings are the best time. And I went out at like 4:15 a.m. on a Saturday night, Sunday morning,
Oh.
and I was shocked. Like it was like noon, like so. That just to say things are full on.
Now, when I asked what you had been up to, the first thing you said is cooking. Now, every time I think of you, I think of your marvelous cooking and your Go Gather Go classes that I attended, two of them, and greatly enjoyed it. What have you been cooking over the last 2 years?
Well, it's funny. It's really funny. So mainly, and I know this is going to sound very simplistic, but
No?
I believe we have elevated it to a higher level, a much higher level. So morning, have 2 meals a day. Morning soup, some kind of soup, red lentil, yellow split pea, something like that. And I'll elaborate on everything. And dinner, beans and greens, pressure cooked beans and greens, made with. Can I explain?
Yeah, go for it. I love
Process.
it.
Yeah. So I use dry beans, and I have a pressure cooker, a regular conventional pressure cooker, and I put in lots of water. I cook the hell out of those beans. Kombu, sea vegetable, a very hot pepper, like a tremendously hot pepper that we get from the Union Square Farmers Market at the end of the summer and beginning of fall. And these things are like 5 times hotter than a habanero Scotch bonnet pepper.
You like your spice though, don't you?
Yeah. But I dehydrate them, so we have them all through the year. And some I turn into hot sauce. Like I have them in a box. When I open that thing up, you start sneezing, coughing, and just it's amazing. Anyway, so I put a really hot pepper, kombu, and I've been really into fresh herbs. So with food string, I just tie sage and dill and thyme and oregano, bay leaf, whatever I have in there. I throw it in. I cook it. I cook it up. Try to cook it till it's pretty much done.
What's your cook time on that in the pressure cooker?
Well, it's funny. This pressure cooker I got is great. And it's not anything fancy. Basically I let it go. When the heat is on.
Oh, you do it by sound, right? Okay.
Yeah, kind of, pretty much. Because it kind of not explodes, but it releases the pressure.
Yeah.
And maybe I go for 6 to 8 releases of pressure, which is about 20 minutes, half hour.
Right.
And
right.
then it takes about 20 minutes or so to just calm down, that I could open it up, because you obviously can't open it up before all the pressure has settled down. So that's the first part. And then I'll take out the kombu and give half of it to Anastasia, my partner, and take out all the herbs and the hot pepper, which I'll cut up, and we'll throw how much we want into our bowl. And then I put in the greens, and it's generally any kind of greens. Like we had dandelions last night. We had white beans and dandelions. It was so delicious. And then I'll cook it for another 20 minutes or so, or 15 minutes, and then I'll serve. I've been making this turmeric. What is it? Turmeric, saffron, brown basmati rice.
Nice. Okay.
So I'll serve it with that. Anastasia just has beans and greens, and then I'll finally chop up red onion. And so I'll serve it. And another thing, I'll make a tomato salad. So I'll slice tomatoes and put it flat on a plate. And then the garlic, I put some garlic. I added garlic in the greens. I put half the garlic in the pot with the greens, and I save half the finely chopped garlic for the tomato salad. So I put sliced tomato, the garlic, herbs Provence, black pepper, and really good balsamic vinegar that I get at Essex Market here. You know, from this Moroccan guy runs this olive oil balsamic spice stand there. And yeah, so I'll make the salad. I'll put the tomato salad. I'll chop up the tomato salad, put it in my bowl with the rice and the beans and greens, and then I'll top that with the red onion, and then I usually roast. I roast scallions and jalapeno, which I'll chop up and add that. I mean, it all depends. And then I'll add a little of the really hot pepper. And then we have tons of hot sauces, both homemade and commercial, just for different kind of flavoring, salt, vinegar, you know, or sometimes heat if the hot pepper doesn't have to be hot. And then I top it off with gobs and gobs of really good extra virgin olive oil, preferably Sicilian, but I have Moroccan, I have Chilean, you know, I have Californian, you know, but and then yeah, just have a bowl and a half of that, and I'm good. I'm good to go. And I can't explain to you how delicious, how rich it is.
Yeah, yeah,
you know, but when you cook the hell out of something, it's like a combination of a stew, a soup, almost, you know, and the beans they just break down and they're creamy. I mean, when it works. I mean, I'm never 100%, but like I've got it down because I've been doing this just about every single day. Like sometimes I have to say, oh, let's make a cauliflower pizza, or I made tacos when my friends came over. But you know, it's hard for me now. And sometimes when I go to Miami and Anastasia stays here, I don't feel like cooking that for just myself. And I just start dreaming about coming home and having beans and greens. And I pretty much do the same thing with the soups in the morning, you know, with the red onions, the roasted jalapeno and scallions, and not the tomato salad though. And you know, I got braces on my teeth, so I have to eat really soft bread, unfortunately. So I just get a soft loaf of whole wheat bread. And yeah, so that's, you know, I mean, that's the main, but I don't know what to do with this, because I should do it. You know about Singing Mouthful, right? You know, our Instagram and our podcast. A bunch of years ago, maybe 5, 6, we started this podcast called Singing with My Mouthful. And we haven't done an episode in a while, even though I have episodes ready. But you know, in our Instagram, you know, where we post all our various food at Singing Mouthful,
right,
is our handle. And yeah, you know, we tried to get the word out and, you know, find out about other things. You know, I'm thinking how I want to approach this. I would like to start doing pop-ups again, because before the pandemic, you know, we were doing these pop-ups like at this bar that had a backyard in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, and we would do barbecues. So that was like the last thing we did, and that was fun. And but you know, I don't know, like there's a right on my block, right across the street from where I'm talking to you, there's this vegan restaurant. Well, there used to be this vegan restaurant called Sacred Chow, and it's just a small place, a storefront where they have the kitchen downstairs. And this is 2 years ago, they closed down, and I see the phone number on the front, and it's empty, you know. It's like, oh man, they have a, you know, health department approved kitchen.
yeah,
You know, maybe I should, you know, we should, because we do, and not only do we cook, you know, we make pickles and sauerkraut, and Anastasia's makes really great kimchi and ketchups and hot sauce. I was thinking maybe I should open a little store with our products, you know, have prepared products, you know, because I don't think I have the temperament to really do a restaurant every day.
right.
I mean, I don't, you know, and I'd rather, and I want to do my music, you know, I don't want to be too taken away by any one thing, but music and food, that's what sustains me, you know.
Yeah, you've always
And
found it very rewarding and very kind of cathartic to cook for people, right?
oh yeah, I really love it. It's like my favorite thing, you know.
Yeah.
And it was just really good, because when I had my friends over the last week or whatever it was recently, I just roast they're like, well, I made tacos, and that's something that you can't just serve and sit down and eat. I have to keep making them,
Yeah.
And they're like, Sal, sit down, sit down. I'm like, no,
Well,
I
that's
just wanted
part
to
of it.
serve
That's part
you,
of it. Yeah.
it was fun, it was just truly fun. And
What kind of
yeah, so,
tacos do you make, Sal?
well, this time I did, I felt bad though. I used Trader Joe's whole wheat tortillas, which I usually make my own
Oh.
tortillas, but I didn't have masa cornmeal too. But anyway, I made really nice thing. The meat is cauliflower and mushroom
Oh, all right.
that I put. And I've also learned another thing is, and this is why I pour olive oil on everything. I've learned to cook without oil.
Okay.
I don't really cook with oil anymore. And the healthy thing is you just put raw, extra virgin, certified, good olive oil at the end, and it's so much healthier. I learned to cook, saute with wine or just plain water.
Yep.
Or in this case, when I did these tacos, I just put in a food processor, onion, garlic, broke up the cauliflower, um, portobello mushroom, not was it portobello, no, crimini mushroom,
Yep.
and then just added some wine and water and Brad's liquid aminos and some herbs, and just cook again. The secret, I think, of good cooking is just to cook the hell out of it,
Right.
you
Right.
know. So it was very meaty. They were like so impressed because they eat, my friends, they eat well, but they don't cook a lot, so
Right.
they had no idea how you do something like this. And then I made cashew creme. You just soak some cashews, put it in your bullet, and make it really creamy and thick. And then
It's
Anastasia
it's
made this.
just cashews, 100% cashews. You don't season
Yeah,
it with anything, or
that's no, that's my cheese too. So when I do a pizza, I just use, just cashew cream.
right.
But when it cooks, it hardens like cheese. I mean, it's not like, stringy like cheese, but it looks exactly like cheese, and
Oh,
plays a role perfectly of cheese. And I also been using a lot of nutritional yeast. I put nutritional yeast in the meat, um, and then a salsa and then a guac, and then it was delicious. Served it
I
up,
have to be very careful with that nutritional yeast because
Why?
I occasionally suffer from gout, and that fires off. That's a trigger for gout attacks.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Why would that be?
It's just one of the precursors for uric acid buildup, or can be,
Uh,
combined
uh,
with, say, a rich diet and maybe a little bit too much alcohol. Speaking of alcohol, the last time, perhaps one of the last times I saw you, I was forcing some rosé wine on you. What have you been drinking over the past 2 years?
oh boy, have I ever?
No, have you increased your intake, lowered it, or I'm not sure.
um, I would say since I'm home a lot, I've increased. We always open a bottle of wine,
Right.
for dinner, and drink that, and then maybe open another bottle, do a couple of shots of vodka with pickled chasers,
Huh,
or
okay.
any, because Anastasia's from the former Soviet Union. She's from Central Asia, and so she has that culture, you know, vodka shot chaser culture in her. And yeah, so I have been, and like, I don't know, I would say my intake has increased because just when you're at home, it's just easier. You're not distracted. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm working. I go on my computer and do stuff, and we whatever. I mean, we do some work, then we started to end our night playing Scrabble.
Yeah.
So that's a thing we do all the time. It's just like a signpost that it's time to start winding down. And then, we'll watch something and fall asleep. And the whole time we're sipping something.
Right. And when it comes to wine, what's your favorite poison? Where are you getting wine from right now that you
Uh,
really enjoy?
I belong to the NPR Wine Club.
Okay.
NPR and
Yeah.
National Public Radio has a wine club. And so that's generally the first bottle of wine.
Okay.
The second bottle is just like, there's a really good liquor store here called Warehouse Wines and Liquors,
Okay.
and that's on Broadway, and Astor, and Yeah, they just buy stuff in warehouse. They just buy, stuff in the liquors and wines in bulk. And I'll go there and get, so what specifically, so, and again, I'm influenced by Anastasia. She doesn't like red wine. I've
All right.
always
Okay.
drank red wine. And now I never drink red wine. So we may basically drink, well, the main thing, even if it's not a very good wine, it has to be dry, dry, dry.
Okay.
And I have, no, don't get jealous. I have this app called Vivino. Do you know it?
Yes, of course I do. Yes, yes, yes. So you're not calling me for advice, right?
Well, I do. I like advice. That's why I belong to the wine club, because they just,
Yeah.
they just get to, you just say what you like, and then they kind of, fashion you a box, But then, no, the one thing that it gives you, what, how dry it is, or if it's a rosé, how acidy it is and stuff. So I think the main consideration is how dry it is. So, a good Sauvignon Blanc is generally, or Chenin Blanc, or and you get some good, Sauvignon. But Chardonnay is not too much. It has to be really dry, But
now, with your plant-based diet, have you dabbled in Gruner Veltliner from Austria at all?
Yes, I have.
How do you find those?
I found, was it Trader Joe's or a warehouse, one of those. So I go to Trader Joe's too, because they have a pretty good wine selection and good price, really good prices, So I'll go there for my, like, the second bottle,
Right, okay.
And because you can't be drinking really good wine all the time, or fairly good wine all the time, I try to keep it within reason. So yeah, I know that one. It's good, and a lot of those, New Zealand and Australian wines are good. Chilean wines are really good and very inexpensive. Like, can't remember the name. There's this one that you get for literally the Sauvignon Blanc for $4.99 a bottle at Trader Joe's, and it's super dry, and it's just, it's not amazingly flavorful, if it, like, for you, you'd probably, I don't know. You'd drink it if you had to, I'm sure, but.
Well, Sal Principato, thank you very much for joining us at Good Food Revolution today. It's great to see you, albeit virtually. Hopefully the next time it will either be in Toronto or down in New York, because it would be good.
Show us that. It definitely would be. Show us your T-shirt.
Oh yeah, I put that on specially. There we go.
Oh, that's beautiful.
This is an old one. This was the reissue that Stussy did.
Oh, right.
But it's still from quite a few years ago now.
Yeah. I don't even have one of them.
You don't?
Just to plug us a little bit, and a new Netflix, if people get it, there's this Netflix produced series called the Andy Warhol Diaries.
Oh yes,
and they're using some liquid music, and Spiderman, the new Spiderman movie.
The new Spiderman, it has some liquid in it.
Yeah.
Oh, in which scene, do you know?
Towards the beginning, when the kids are, it's one of our more obscure songs, Scraper. And when the kids are like demonstrating against Spider-Man, because he's been revealed.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah.
All right, I'm going to check that out. I'll check. I've not seen that film as of yet, but I'm going to check that out. But
my latest pick for a movie is Blue Bio. Okay. And it's an American produced film, produced, directed, and starring this Korean American guy whose name kind of escapes me, but boy, is it soulful and good, and he is good, and it's heart wrenching, but it's so good. Okay. Well, you're giving me food tips, wine tips, and film movie tips, and music tips, of course. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us. All right. Bye-bye, Jamie. Bye, everyone.